Welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone and Sean Anderson, two very punchy individuals after we slept like 2 hours total and then got another hour of sleep after coming back from Idaho. We're going to talk about the Idaho trip at the end of today's show, but of course there are far more pressing matters at hand as the FCS bracket is a total piece of crap. We're going to get into that and break down how they did wrong to a number of teams that should have been in, that should have been seated higher. But a reminder that today's episode and every single episode is presented to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. If you're going to be betting on college football or maybe the NFL, NBA's rolling, you got the NHL popping off, college basketball, which is one of my favorite sports to bet on. Maybe your team's out of the FCS playoffs. You want to throw a little bit of bread down on your school's basketball program. Head on over to FanDuel, which is easily the best sports betting platform out there. Sean, any lines, by the way, that caught your attention?
Okay, I'm liking Carolina getting.
We're bringing that up later, by the way.
Okay, I don't know if we can. I don't.
No, I'm going to bring that up later.
Carolina San Fran's really interesting. San Fran favored by 7.5 at home. How fraudulent do we think Carolina will be against a Robert Saleh defense?
This is one of those games where we're going to say that, and then the Panthers are going to drop like 58.
Okay, if they're dropping 58, then the over/under at FanDuel set at 49.5. Are we excited to see Brock Purdy duel?
I would take the over just from the pure shock factor.
Yeah, let's go shock factor then. Over 49.5. I like that in Carolina San Fran. Monday night. All right. In case you missed it, the FCS football bracket is out. I'm going to do a very quick read through of the seeds, and then we're not going to talk like the specific matchups just yet. We're going to do our preview early on this week. 1 seed North Dakota State, 2 seed ended up being Montana State, 3 seed Montana, 4 seed Tarleton State, 5 Lehigh, 6 Mercer, 7 SFA, and then 8 was one of the most shocking, UC Davis, 9 Rhode Island, 10 ACU, 11 is South Dakota, 12 Villanova, 13 Tennessee Tech, which is nuts, 14 South Dakota State, which is also kind of nuts. 15 ends up going, I was flowing here. We're Youngstown State. And then lastly, 16 is Southeastern Louisiana. Let's start here and just to kind of get it out of the way because everyone knows we're 2 former players from Rhode Island. Because we have a vote on the stats poll, I don't want to try and kind of get into the whole – I've been trying to be better about this of like openly rooting for Rhode Island because they've never been good until now. And now we hold a lot of sway. It's not a lot of sway, but we have an impact on where they get ranked. I try to rank them, not deliberately try to rank them lower, but I try not to get too caught up in if they're doing well to rank them too high. But they end up not getting a bye, and they end up being outside of the top 8, which to me is quite perplexing. To be boxed out for SFA, to be boxed out by Mercer, Mercer makes a little bit more sense, but UC Davis of all teams is quite strange. We're going to get to that in a little bit. Having a CAA team with 1 FCS loss and no losses in conference, I think is extremely, extremely confusing to me. I know a lot of people want to argue that the CAA is not as tough as it once was back when Delaware and JMU were in it in recent years, but URI accomplishing what they did this year and dominating most of their opponents down the stretch, I thought was enough of a resume booster to prove, hey, maybe they're not playing a tough schedule, but they're kicking the crap out of everybody who's in their path. The CAA also had 3 bids, by the way. We have three teams in with UNH, Villanova, and Rhody. Also, by the by, Monmouth, if they didn't lose to Albany, could have been a bubble, make the playoff too. So now we're looking at a conference with 4 possible playoff teams without a freak loss in the final week, and the winner doesn't get a bye. I don't get it, and it's not sour grapes. I'd be saying the same thing if Maine won the conference, UNH won the conference. If they had the same season that Rhody did, if William Mary decide, we're going to play, we're going to lose a weird one, and then we're going to lose 1 FBS game to like ODU or something, you would still encourage them to be put in the top 10 in the top 8. You win the conference, you win a big conference, you get the bye. That's how it works. I'm sorry, it's not Pioneer, it's not Patriot, it's not NEC, it's the CAA. And if they're blending in too much nowadays, then that's your prerogative. But if you win the CAA, you get a bye.
You know what the CAA kind of reminds me of the Big 12, where the Big 12 used to have some really big brands in it with Texas and Oklahoma. And if we want to go even back further, back when they had Texas A&M and Missouri and Nebraska, and they used to always have like these really, really big brands that ended up jumping to go to other conferences. But the current product that's out there is still really competitive. You still have a lot of really good teams that are going to put up a fight. And if you look at the Big 12 every single week, you have teams knocking each other off that all have relatively same records. They're all similar levels of good. And if you sent them to, in the college football playoffs, a little bit different, but if you asked Houston to play against the fifth best team in the ACC or the sixth best team in the SEC, they'd put up a fight and they'd play really close. I think the same thing applies here for the CAA. And Rhode Island's kind of like Texas Tech for the CAA, where everybody else is really solid to good, and Rhode Island's the best team because they've got the best defense and they've had performances where their offense has completely lit up opponents. Again, I don't want to like come off as you're saying sour grapes, getting upset that our team's not ranked higher. That's not what it is.
I think we do a good job at that, by the way.
We barely talk about Rhode Island.
For two former players that are, as invested, we're not two slappies that went to the school, got a vote, and we're covering.
Yeah.
As entrenched as we could be in a program, to go and do this show and try to stay as unbiased as possible. I think we do that, and I would hold that today we're still maintaining that, because it's been reflected also across FCS Twitter, and all the other voters are shocked.
Everyone's saying the same thing.
Sorry, yeah. So if you think it's just an us thing, it's not. Go ahead and do a scan.
Tennessee Tech is the team that I am the most upset for. I have absolutely no idea what were they talking about? What were they looking at? Were they looking at another Tennessee school? What is there a school that I don't know of that is a similar? Was it Tennessee State that maybe that they were looking at? They have one loss to an SEC program. Now I understand that Tennessee Tech doesn't have a win over North Dakota or some shit on their resume. But how do they end up all the way down at 13?
They cleared the Big South, obviously. They cleared it.
They were the most consistently highly ranked and respected teams on ballots the entire year. Where did they get that notion from? That is what I'm like legitimately pissed off about. Like, let's talk about bias, non-bias. You got no rooting interest in Tennessee Tech here. Why are they there? Who put them at 13 and said, oh, yep, this looks good. Okay, this looks good. This looks real solid.
Okay.
I will say, one thing I got to like add in here, Lehigh also kind of less of an aggressive move back. I do think some of the shift occurred here when Montana lost to Montana State. It opened up this trying to figure out where to put them, and he ended up getting the 2-3 ordering with those two squads. So that moves back Lehigh. And apparently that really slides Tennessee Tech.
I don't know how. Potent offense, really good team this year. Is it because they beat UT Martin, second in the conference, by the way, by 3? Is it because it was a good game going into the fourth quarter and we're punishing that? All they did was smoke fools. All they did was put up 71 points, 45 points, 66, 52, 42. One of the best offenses in the FCS, probably one of the best offenses Tennessee Tech has ever fielded as a program, and it feels like a punishment for this.
Yeah,
like okay, you want to say that the OVC Big South didn't have their big strong muscles? Okay, that whatever. But if you have a team that has gone above and beyond to get through this conference, running through Gardner-Webb, running through Lindenwood, all the middle of the muck. And then the one time they get pushed at the end of the season, they still do it. They still get the big win. That's not worthy of putting them so low in the rank. I did not get it when it was rolling in and the team rankings were rolling in. I couldn't believe my eyes on the TV when I saw. I was sitting in my room. What? Who made this decision? It's a good team at Tennessee Tech. Whatever. Maybe this is fuel for them. Maybe this is something they could rally behind. I would be pissed if I like the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, and they're also the one thing too here is this isn't even a circumstance where they're toiling with the teams on their schedule and their conference and they're scraping by and winning close games. They had I alluded to this when I do my ballot. I'm not going to reference the numbers because I have not updated it for my final ballot. I include in my information for basing my rankings, I include an average point differential stat because I think having a consistent team that wins by large margins should play into being placed very, very highly. Absolutely should. And if you're trying to, I think it's really helpful for me when you're trying to make a decision on who goes in the back end of the top 25. If I got a team who's winning by 7 or more points and I'm comparing them to a team that's barely winning by 3 every single time on average, I'm going to go with the team who's winning with a bigger cushion, regardless of the strength of schedule. Obviously, those things are taken into account. Well, Tennessee Tech did not have any, quote, quality wins for me. They had one of the best point differentials of any of the teams on my board coming into this week. So to have consistently dominated their schedule is what made zero sense to me. This goes in line. It kind of all plays into why the hell is UC Davis as an 8-3 team ranked where they are? How did they get the 8 seed? They consistently were a team that barely made it onto my ballot every single week. And
they were pushed off of mine a couple times.
They had an average coming into the game against Sac State. They had a 1.5 average point differential. They were barely beating the teams on their schedule. And I also had one quality win for them. I'm pulling up the resume so I have it exactly in front of me. What was their best win this year?
Probably Northern Arizona, while Northern Arizona was ranked.
What are we doing?
Idaho's not a quality win. Loved Idaho. That's not a quality win this year for that team.
No.
Sac State's fine, but Sac State was a bubble playoff team.
Weber, Southern Utah?
You know what? The Mercer game got canceled. I don't know if they're giving them grace for that. Like, oh, we think they could have beat Mercer. That's garbage.
I'd be pissed off if that was the case.
I hope I get no intel on that, on whether or not that was weighted in this. Utah Tech, are we grading that? Is that you beat Utah Tech, you get the 8 seed?
How are you going to give an 8 seed to a team that got dogged by the 2nd overall seed?
Also lost to Idaho State.
They have such a bad resume.
2 conference losses.
They have such a bad resume. The resume is so bad. This isn't even a circumstance where we're sitting here going, well, who would we have put there? There's like 4 teams we could have made an argument for.
You know what? I know the Missouri Valley had like they had the most teams for the conference, and maybe this is we need to get 3 Big Sky teams in. All 3 Big Sky teams didn't need to be ranked. If you needed to have a third the UC Davis third in the Big Sky this year, fine, congratulations, way to be. You outdid Idaho State and Sac State at the 4 and 5. That doesn't mean you need to get a bye if you're the 3rd best Big Sky team. Conference was weak. Conference was rough this year. In all honesty, a lot of duds across the board in that conference. And you're telling me the 3rd best team beating up on the Skells gets a bye? No, you get to make the playoff. You can be in it. You can be a team that's unseeded, but makes it. You don't get a bye if you're UC Davis this year. It is an it's a monstrosity for the ballot. So gross, just really, really rough this. And we don't do this. If you go back and you listen to our poll reaction, ballot reaction, playoff reaction stuff, it's not like this. No, last year we weren't up in arms about the top 24.
No.
Year before we didn't. I
can't remember being this pissed off. No, I legitimately can't remember being this like what. I heard you in the room while I was finishing up the A to Z college football newsletter. I heard you every 5 minutes going, what?
Yeah. Oh, the groan I let out when I saw UNH also. But look, there's so much. I know there was a lot of dominoes that fell in the last week. And maybe there hasn't been enough time for that to marinate. This was a crazy ass last week of the season for how the playoff and the bracket would shake out. I don't know who I want to blame. I kind of want to blame the Ivies. There's a lot of I just got a lot. It's just so great. Like Harvard losing yesterday sucked because that means that we have 2 Ivies in the playoffs.
That was, by the way, so we were in the hotel in Idaho, and before we went over to the tailgate and meet up with a couple people and then go in the stadium, we were chilling in the Pullman Hotel, and we were set up watching the games, and at the bar in the hotel, we were sitting and watching, and then at the complete opposite side of the hotel, they had on the Harvard-Yale, like could not be further away, and for some reason, you couldn't hear the game all the way across the hotel, but whenever a big play happened, you would hear a pop come from that TV. So we would look over and be like, oh, Yale scored again. Sean, the Ivy League is the Pioneer League. Can we be frank with ourselves? It's not 1920 anymore. Since when has the Ivy League been good enough to suddenly they get an auto bid to the playoff, and now we got to put 2 in because one of them beat the best team with the best record?
Crazy.
No.
Crazy.
They finally played each other, and one knocked off the other. How about Harvard's not that good, and they played an easy schedule?
If you play the one other good team in your conference and you lose, then you lose.
It's a non-scholarship league. What are we talking about here? In modern college football, the Ivies do not recruit at the level that they once did. Most of the guys that are on the radar of Ivy League schools now get money to go and play at Vanderbilt and Notre Dame, all the big programs. I mean, shit, Fernando Mendoza was getting recruited by Ivies, and he went to Cal. We don't have this same level of recruiting that we once did, that has been gradually declining decade over decade. I hope both of these teams get whooped. I hope both of them get dogged, because it's like if we stuck Drake and we threw Presbyterian in. That's what it would be like.
It feels like it. I guess congrats to Drake for getting in. Yeah, that's fine.
Drake mentioned
Presbyterian left out. I think McKinnell reported the first 4 out. The Presbyterian was in the
also Mercyhurst not getting in is absolute bullshit. I would like to hear the committee explain that one to me.
Oh my God. I actually have nothing against Yale in this one. Yale showed up.
Right. That's my point.
Biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
You win and you take the conference. Go ahead. You beat Harvard, the one team that you needed to beat all year.
Yeah.
You set up and you win. Fine. You're in the playoffs. Harvard, guess what? You're out.
That's the whole point. It's a play-in.
It was a playoff game. And then we're letting both playoff teams go in.
Wait, here's the, I don't mean to cut you off. Here's the biggest problem that I have with this bullshit. They don't even play a full schedule. They play less games.
You get 1.
They play less. If you're playing not as many games as everybody, you play 10 games. That should count against you. If you're too cool and too fucking important as the Ivy Leagues to play enough games, we're going to start whenever we feel like it. We got academics are important. You don't deserve 2 teams. This is a joke.
Be happy with 1. Be happy with 1 and just send the winner. God, I actually feel like it's just.
What, you feel like a clown complaining about this?
No, I feel like a clown for like having Harvard ranked and like believing that we're going to see one Ivy team that had a good season. I was a believer. I was fine with Harvard walking into this game. You lose to Yale, it changes. You have to accept that things change and that I don't know. People can't abandon a principle or a take or a season-long narrative. It takes one game to change it. All right, and maybe I live by you should have everything that you need to escape town in 15 minutes, and then you're good. But look, you can't get so entrenched in a team or a plan. It felt like it was just a plan. Like okay, Harvard's getting in regardless. We already have the travel details set up. We got the crew already working over there. Like it didn't feel. It just didn't feel right, honestly, to where other teams should have been in instead of 2 Ivies.
Reminder that today's episode is presented to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Again, if you're going to be betting on college football or whatever favorite sport that you like to bet on, make sure you go and do it over at FanDuel. 2 teams that lost this weekend got in, and it's a little bit of a head scratcher. North Dakota loses, has 4 FCS losses. I'm not really totally miffed by North Dakota. I think North Dakota gets in because they've got some quality performances on their resume, and it's not like they were a team that was getting blown out in any of their losses. They were showing up and they were fighting, and I've been a big advocate for North Dakota. They just had a really damn good schedule, tough schedule. They got 2 really solid wins. I'm kind of finding myself having trouble figuring out how Lamar got in immediately after losing to a 5-7 McNeese team. And this is all juxtaposed with 2 of the snubs from this past weekend. So I'm kind of lumping up a couple points here. There weren't many crazy snubs that we were saying, oh my God, how did these teams not get in? I feel like every year we've got like 4 teams we can make a case for.
Yeah.
Monmouth losing to Albany killed them, and they justifiably should have been knocked out. I would have argued.
We saw the punishment there. We saw that you lose a game at the end of the stretch, you don't get in the playoffs. We saw that in the CAA.
Yeah. I would argue Monmouth over Lamar if we're picking a team that lost inexplicably to a team with a losing record at the end of the year, because Albany's shown a little bit of fight at the end of the season.
Monmouth has a top 5 receiver and one of the, I think, a top 5 leading rusher in the FCS also this year.
Also, from like an entertainment standpoint, how are you going to leave that out? But here's the biggest snub by far, and maybe some people disagree with me. I'm shocked by this. SIU beats Illinois State. Great win, great gritty win, and we're sitting here talking about all these teams that get it. Like it should actually matter if you finish the season strong. I really truly believe that. If you have a 7-5 record and a solid resume, you should get in.
It feels like this week was really not even critical for a lot of the decisions. Like it feels like
predetermined.
It feels predetermined, honestly, because how do you go through a crazy week? Oh, we'll flip Montana State. That's fine. We understand how the head-to-head works. Do you? I'm just so confused. I mean, look, North Dakota, for the North Dakota versus Lamar point, North Dakota's 4 losses were a little bit better than Lamar's 3 losses. I mean, Lamar losing to Incarnate Word. Lamar lost the 3 of their last 4, by the way, down the stretch. Lost to Incarnate Word, beat Sela. That's a good win. Lose to SFA, lose to McNeese.
Is the Sela win enough to get you into the playoffs?
Sela, like second in conference, second in the Southland. But that's what I'm saying. How much are we weighting the Southland wins?
It's very odd. It's so odd.
You know what? And maybe I'm dumb and confused and angry because
tagline for the podcast,
because a lot of things changed very quickly. But this last week provided me with no satisfaction for how the ballot shook out. I am not satiated one bit or comfortable really thinking like, oh well, this is how it should be shaking out. This is how I thought that this was going to happen all year. And you know what? I'm happy for Youngstown State. I've been tracking them all year. I've been campaigning for them a little bit, just championing them rather, not campaigning. That's what Jamie Williams does. I've been championing Youngstown State and wanting to see that offense get some real burn in the playoffs. But it just feels a bit sloppy. And I think that the FCS historically has done a really good job of showing how a 24-team playoff looks. Like I think with all the conferences, all the teams, they've done a pretty respectable job. This year, I think it's a bit of a clown show.
Absolutely is. Before we round out, and did you update the Grimace standings?
Yeah, I got the final Grimace standings.
Okay, I'll get to that in a second. I want to just talk about like who has the best path looking at these brackets.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that if you're looking at the FCS account bracket that's posted on their Twitter, the bottom left quadrant that is Tarleton and Lehigh, I couldn't tell you who's going to win in that one. And I think that that's the chaos quadrant.
Yeah.
That we could get like a real slaughter fest going on down there, and one victor will arise, and that team will be battle tested and ready to maybe surprise someone. But we'll see what happens there. You also have in the mix there Tennessee Tech, who could be the unexpected low-seeded team to go on a run, which
sure,
I'm rooting for them for how much they got screwed over. The other side of this, I think that the Montana quadrant is going to be an absolute bloodbath. They threw in all the blue bloods with really good teams. SDSU potentially getting Chase Mason back, which is, I feel like I have no idea if that's true or not. Everybody's saying it on Twitter, but who the hell knows these days with college football injuries?
You know, if they gamed it and they were like, hey, we're going to go out there and warm up, big men. And then if we win this thing, maybe they'll speculate that you'll be back for the first round.
You have SDSU, Montana, South Dakota, and Mercer all in that quadrant. So that one is very polar opposite of the Tarleton Lehigh quadrant, where like that portion that's
good football.
A lot of really good teams. We'll see who gets out. The other one is I'm praying for whoever survives that, because you're going to go through a complete brutal path to get to survive.
Yeah, and it's set up where we're possibly getting Brawl of the Wild 2 in the same season, which honestly, it's a treat for FCS fans. I got the yelling out of the way the bracket's shaped up. If the 1, 2, 3, and 4 shake out and they're in the semis facing each other, I'd happily watch NDSU Tarleton, and I would be well, I'm not going to get graphic here, but I would be very enthusiastic to watch Montana State again in the playoffs. So I'm happy with the top 4. The rest of the madness is just madness. I'm hoping to see like I think you're right. The Lehigh Tarleton quadrant is going to have like the easiest barrier. The North Dakota State quadrant is tough. I mean, UC Davis, I'm not worried about UC. Here's the thing. I'm not that. I wish it was Rhode Island was flipped with UC Davis personally as an alum, but I'm not that worried. You play Central Connecticut State. You beat them last year in the playoffs, and then you get UC Davis. Fine. And then if you play North Dakota State, okay. But it's at least a path. But it's tough to have one of the four quadrants kind of be determined already.
Yeah. So which is why, like, when we talk about, like, who's got the best path, who's got the blah, blah, whatever that is, you almost don't even bring up North Dakota State because you just look over. By the way, I called it. I said that watch Rhode Island end up finishing strong and then having to play North Dakota State. So I completely called that was the reality that was created by them finishing the way that they did.
And you know what? If there are any decision makers that listen to this show, I will hope not. I will say this. It is not the URI that we were playing on when we were there, okay?
Yeah.
We had one winning season. This roadie squad is legit. Like they're just learning how to win, and they have a good quarterback. They got a great receiver, a great running back, good defense. Like it's a team that actually is built for the playoffs. I hate that I'm getting so in the weeds with Rhodey, but it's something that stoked me today. Like it actually got me fired up where I feel like I have to defend that team for getting shafted like that. And that's fine. Whatever.
Well, obviously nobody cares about the FCS football playoff. Everybody cares a lot more about the Grimace.
Yes, that's right.
National Championship. So I have a question for you here. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the standings, and I'll let you maybe. I just want to look at you don't need to recap this past weekend. I want to just look at the standings and talk this through.
Sure. This is our meeting. We're behind closed doors.
I think that we only have to before I let you share this here. I have two thoughts. I think that the national champion should be determined by who has the best Grimace on Grimace record. Okay. And I think that because of the way that this is currently built, which I will let you explain in a second here, that there is no path. It should be clinched. There's no path in the playoff for anybody to secure enough wins to set themselves up to knock off the top team, because the top team has a 2-win cushion over the next team. And the next team, that being Tarleton and Tennessee Tech, could face one another during the FCS playoff. But if Tarleton beats Tennessee Tech, it is not enough to knock off or create some sort of a tiebreaker with their champion. But
right.
I'll allow you to explain this.
Well, let's go through the teams that have wins in the Grimace Conference. These are, I guess, our playoff teams, I guess.
Yeah.
That would be Northwestern State, who was 1-11 this season, and there was 1-1 in the Grimace Conference with a win versus Alcorn.
Okay.
SFA, 10-2 on the year, 1-1 in Grimace. Okay, so you got a Grimace win, you got a Grimace loss, you have a good record, but you have the loss. So now we got to start working into 1 plus 1 wins and the undefeated in Grimace. That being Western Carolina, 7-5, 1-0 in the Grimace with a win versus Furman. Tennessee Tech, 11-1 on the season. Great year. Only 1-0 in the Grimace with a win versus Western Illinois. Tarleton State, right now in second, 11-1, 4-ranked team nationally in the FCS, only 2-1 in the Grimace. Now, ACU, 4-0 in Grimace, wins against SFA, North Alabama, Tarleton, and Central Arkansas at an 8-4 overall record. They have to be our champions, right? 4-0 in the Grimace.
This is my point. I don't care. These are all exhibition games when you're not playing outside of Grimace. This is why we need to talk to somebody to get more Grimace on Grimace matchups. But ACU understood. They clearly have been listening to the show. They understood we have to play as many purple teams as possible so that we can secure and win this. And not only did they recognize that they had to step up to the challenge of adhering to our scheduling requirements, but they also won. They're undefeated, unscathed.
Unreal season for them. Honestly, like really, really good. Like it's clear.
I'm going to make a graphic for this. I think I'm going to make a Grimace national champion, and I'm going to post. I'm going to see if I have time. I might have time after we get off of here to make like a really ridiculous graphic.
I think also they have the head-to-head win versus the number 2 team in Tarleton.
That's my. So yeah, there's literally no way for Tarleton.
Sorry, Tarleton. Have fun in the playoff, jerks.
Yeah,
now we got
your meaningless playoff.
We've got our kings.
You won, and we're like the old school style AP vote for the national championships. We're just gonna point and pick.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you.
Hey, We're coming out of the room, and there's going to be a winner, and we're not taking calls.
No.
Don't send us mail. No email. Nothing.
Congratulations, Abilene Christian, for winning the Grimace Conference. I'm going to post it and tag them, and they're going to be confused as shit. We
just need one person to understand the show a little bit this is a pretty big deal. First Grimace League championship, inaugural season. That's huge.
You want to try inaugural one more time?
I don't think I have it.
All right, really quickly before we get out of here, I want to say a quick thank you to everybody at Idaho. Every single year when we do these trips, minus when we went to Campbell, we have had an absolute blast. We've had so much fun getting to experience and see these really unique environments. Shout out to Chris Hammond, who really rolled out the red carpet for us. Every experience for trips that we've had has been really fun, and everybody that we've met has been extremely friendly and super nice. But I would argue Idaho went above and beyond in terms of giving us access to things and letting us do things and really giving us an opportunity to produce some fun, like simple content while we were there. Jarek Wolcott, who's the SID, gave us the potato trophy that he carved. It kind of explained a little bit of the lore. I actually didn't know that King Spud wasn't the football trophy and that it's lost. I didn't know that, so we kind of got that context. He also showed us a lot of really cool stuff in his office, and we got really the great behind-the-scenes look and explained some of their philosophies for how they've grown and built up their brand. And I think that they're trending in a fantastic direction. I think that Jarek is a great vision for what he wants to do with this Idaho. Geez, I'm running on no sleep, guys. I'm sorry. Idaho athletic department. And again, Chris Hammond did an awesome job, who's not Rack, by the way. We were sitting at a basketball game, and Rack was DMing me with Chris next to us. And I sent Rack a picture of Chris, and then Rack proceeded to, a couple minutes later, in a different chat with me and Sean, say, I'm sitting next to you guys. How do you not see me? I'm wearing a black shirt.
Just working a bit. He's just working a bit. So, Chris Hammond officially.
Not Rack. We've confirmed.
Stamp of approval.
Not Rack.
From the Hack City team. Not Rack.
Not Rack. He got us courtside seats for a women's basketball game. He coordinated us to get on the court to do a free throw contest.
Bullshit.
I mocked this jackass who thought he was better than me. I beat him 5-3. There's footage of me beating him 5-3. So there's not going to be any fake news.
That was terrible. That was the low light of the trip for me, was losing the free throw contest. But if that's the low light, then it's a pretty great trip, is what I'll say.
Yes.
It's just look, it's great. We love doing this. Genuinely, for all the FCS fans that voted, if you rally the troops, we are happy to go. It's been such a positive experience year after year, where it's just like, I'm a little grateful. I'm grateful that the Idaho people were able to get us there and to see a different part of the country and to have reference points and to experience the glory of the Kibbie Dome and all of its liminal.
It really lived up to
I swear to God, we knew it. Yeah, I called it. We called it. We knew it was going to be a crazy ass dome in a town. Weird scene. Students weren't really on campus, so it was kind of
very liminal. It really felt like we were there, but not there. It felt like we were still sleeping on the plane. Like, we might not be awake right now. I might be dead.
Hopefully.
Not because Idaho.
It was really a unique experience. It was unique because last year, Montana, packed campus, everyone's floating around. This year, it was kind of like exactly what we wanted to, at least me. I wanted to walk around Idaho like I'm in the spirit realm, where no one really is at night, dark, empty campus. You're just walking, looking around, seeing what the vibe is, and it's liminal. And it is a weird spot. It's a great spot. It's a place that I would encourage football fans to go check out. I don't know, the magnitude of the Kibbie Dome, I'd say, is great. The football fans, not just Idaho fans.
Oh, my God, there were some great fans in the stands.
The football fans at Idaho, and I'll have my Idaho recap article out sometime early this week, and it'll have the full breakdown that's much more eloquent than me trying to babble on 2 hours of sleep. When I got involved, when we were sitting down in the club section and the game was happening and we were surrounded by the actual fans, it just restores all my faith in football. It does, because I see the passion, I see the energy, I see the spirit from people that just want to go to a game and yell for the team, yell against the other team, give the refs a little ball, but like it was a good soul cleansing for me, who's just a cynical jerk that likes to sit in the dark by himself and watch football all day, to actually go and experience people and see their passion for football. It makes me feel good to see that. So Idaho, my hat's off to you. You guys have a great fan base. You have a great program. Thank you for getting us out there.
I encourage any just college football fan to go check out the Kibbe Dome. And it legitimately, to kind of dig a little deeper here, Sean understands this past like couple weeks have been having a lot of thoughts on how I want to approach what I do with my career in the next year and what I want to focus on and where I want to spend my time. I've been doing basically as a content creator for a little less than a year now. And I felt like that trip really solidified to me that I want to clear space on what I'm currently doing so I can spend more time taking trips like this. And like, I really want us to find a way in the future to take 2 trips where we have a fan vote trip and then we've got one where we pick. And now all I can think about now is how I want to go to some G5 stadiums and experience some of those folks. I want to go to ECU for a football game. I want to sit in the stands for a JMU game. I want to sit in the stands I'd love to go to a Wazoo game. I think that would be sick. I want to go to Lehigh Lafayette. I want to be able to experience more of these things.
See Brawl of the Wild at Montana State. Heads up.
Seriously,
Heads
Montana
up,
State fans. I want to go to the Fargo Dome. I really think that this game really, like, there's 2 different worlds of college football that get talked about in the sense where we've got the college football playoff, we've got the blue bloods, we've got the top programs that are on a trajectory to win a national championship. And then we have the very unique layer of the sport where there's just people that are passionate about their teams and want to sit in the stands and as you said, yell and voice their opinions and just watch their team go to work against a rival that they've known only hatred for their entire life. It's like 6-7 decades of their life that they've been around, the people that we were sitting near in the stands. And I just want to be able to see more fan bases like that and experience some more unique things. And I think we got a good chance to do that.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Really good stuff, Idaho. You guys did not disappoint. By the way, I had fun at Campbell. I know it was crazy and it was ridiculous and in a lot of ways, but I have enjoyed each trip. So look, I guess we're going to try not to make another rule, I think, before next year's vote. I know that we made another rule before this year's vote about how many years break you get.
No more rules. I would probably bet we end up at South Dakota State again. I think that we should try to find it. Maybe we should. Do they play at USD this year? No, I think they're home this year. Next year, I mean. We'll figure that out. But we'll probably end up at South Dakota State again because those guys love us and they always win the vote.
Start game planning. Make a burner. Make a burner for your school and start connecting. Get boots on the ground. I'm telling you, that's how Idaho got us. They got a couple crazy people sitting in that state. Amongst the potato farms, not derogatory. We drove through 1 billion potato farms trying to get from.
Thanks for clarifying that potato farms wasn't a derogatory statement.
You know what? Yeah, we got
to punch you out. All right, at Joe DeLeone at Sense Radio. This week we're gonna get you our predictions. For the first round. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week. We'll talk to you later.